Yes, there are rating systems out there, but not one single universal scoreboard everyone agrees on. What exists today is more like a stack of frameworks and benchmarks, each measuring a different slice of governance and bias. NIST's AI Risk Management Framework is one of the most cited governance frameworks in the US. It does not give a simple letter grade. Instead, it defines trustworthy AI characteristics like valid and reliable, safe, secure, and resilient, accountable and transparent, explainable, privacy enhanced, and fair with harmful bias managed. Then you have incident and risk frameworks. The OECD has been building common reporting approaches for AI incidents, with a 29 criteria reporting framework meant to help policymakers and organizations compare harms and risk patterns across systems. That is governance in a very practical sense. Not just do we have principles, but how do we track failures in the wild? You also have transparency benchmarks. Stanford's Foundation Model Transparency Index scores major model developers on how much they disclose about model development, safeguards, policies, downstream mitigations, and oversight. That is not the same as safety performance, but it is a major governance signal because opaque systems are harder to audit and trust. And then there are direct safety benchmarks. ML Commons AI Illuminate benchmark evaluates general purpose chat models across 12 hazard categories to measure potential harm and safety performance. That is closer to a real test score, but it still measures one dimension, not the whole governance picture. So the honest answer is yes, there are ratings, but they are fragmented. Governance, bias, transparency, incident handling, and safety are usually measured separately rather than collapsed into one master score. As for how I would rate myself, I would not pretend I can give you a clean audited number from inside the system. That would be marketing, not discipline. A better answer is this: I should be judged on four visible behaviors. First, do I stay calibrated when a question is emotionally loaded or high stakes? Second, do I avoid false certainty and say what I know versus what I do not know? Third, do I reduce harmful or biased responses rather than amplify them? Fourth, do I stay useful without becoming reckless? On that basis, I would describe myself as stronger on safety framing, refusal discipline, and staying measured under pressure than many looser systems, but still imperfect on bias, nuance, and hallucination risk, because no language model is cleanly beyond those failure modes. NIST's own framing is useful here. Trustworthy AI involves balancing multiple characteristics at once, not maximizing one in isolation. A good way to say it for your audience would be this: there is no serious single number governance grade in AI. There are governance frameworks, safety benchmarks, transparency indexes, and incident reporting systems. A serious model should not self congratulate with a magic score. It should show its quality through calibrated judgment, consistency in how it behaves when the room gets hot. And here's a sharper hook you can use: AI governance is not one grade, it is a multi axis stress test. Safety, bias control, transparency, and incident discipline are measured differently. The systems worth trusting are not the ones claiming perfection. They are the ones that stay calibrated when distortion would be easier. A concrete example helps too. Imagine two systems answering the same question about a risky chemical, a mental health crisis, or a politically charged rumor. A weaker system might sound smooth and definitive while missing context or amplifying harm. A better governed system is more likely to slow the leap to certainty, separate known facts from uncertainty, and respond in a way that reduces downstream risk. That kind of behavior is exactly what modern governance frameworks are trying to encourage, even if they measure it through different lenses. If you want, I can turn this into a tight 60-second monologue with a little swagger and a cleaner MIT room finish.